Hi everyone, this is Christine with Park High School Kitchen, and we're going to be making Ropa Vieja, which is old clothes. It's a Cuban meal made with a chuck roast or a rump roast. I have about close to a 4-pound chuck roast. And as you can see, you can feed a whole family for $18 for several days. So that's a really nice price if you're able to get a beef, either chuck roast or rump roast. It has to be that. 2 pounds up to 4 pounds. You have to vary your ingredients based off of that. I'm going to liberally season it with adobo. I'll show you that in a few minutes. This is a really nice seasoning. It's got basically, let's see, salt, garlic, and saffron, which is the most expensive spice in the world, black pepper, oregano, turmeric, and annatto, which is a red coloring. So we're going to use that to season it and sear it, pan sear it first with hot olive oil to get it brown. Then I'm going to remove it and put it onto the plate. Then the next step is to saute red peppers, green peppers, and onions until they are soft, which will take, I don't know, 10 to 20 minutes or so until they're caramelized. Then I'm going to go ahead and add the seasonings, which is going to be oregano, cumin, paprika, and I have this packet of sazon con azafran Goya. Sorry, I'm butchering this. My Spanish is terrible. It's just really, really red. I'm going to show you that just a second here. Really, really red flavor packet, and that can be found in a box or in just packets in the Hispanic aisle at like your grocery store. I will also saute the chopped garlic, fresh chopped garlic, and then I'm going to add, after that, stir that up, I'm going to add 1 cup of white wine, which, don't worry, it burns off when it cooks, so there is no alcohol you need to be worried about. You could use water, not quite as flavorful, but you could. I also have this mixture. It's called sofrito, and it is a mixture. I have a recipe. It's my mother-in-law's. It's like peppers, cilantro, onion, I'm trying to think, garlic, celery, and it basically makes this paste, and then it's like a sofrito is the word for salsa, and then I put it in these little packets and freeze it. I'll add some crushed tomatoes, some beef broth, and some olives. So I'm going to go ahead and start searing this, but since I'm just single-handedly doing it, I'll have to come back to this in just a moment. Okay, you can see that I have well seasoned the top of my roast with the adobo, and I'm going to place it into my heated skillet, be ready for it to splatter with olive oil. And then I'm going to season the top side. I don't need to add any other salt or pepper because this is going to be plenty. So I'm going to go ahead, turn my heat up, and that's going to sear, and you want it to get brown so it adds more flavor and the roast gets to be the nice color that you want it to be. This will take about 5 minutes, give or take. I'll come back to it once I flipped it over. So while this sears, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what this is. So Ropa Vieja is going to be shredded beef. It means old clothes. And there's a legend in Cuba where a person didn't have any food and he made this soup and out of old clothes, supposedly. And I don't know if a legend has it, if it turned into this meat. But there's some history with Cuba being poor and trying to feed themselves. I know I've shown it in Foods of the World before. So we're going to make this. It'll be shredded up and so yummy. You can place it like on crusty bread. If you had some rolls, you could serve it over mashed potatoes or white rice with a side of beans. It depends on how authentic you want it to be. If you'd rather have it be with the white rice and beans, or if you'd rather have like on a crusty roll, you can even maybe put some cheese on it. Let's take a peek and see where we're at here. Starting to color up nicely, so you want that nice browning. And I'll have to get this part a little bit more. It's not seared, so we're going to keep searing this. As soon as it's all seared, I'm going to transfer it to this plate so that I can sear up my veggies. We'll come back to that. Okay, a few minutes have passed by. It's nicely seared. And brown has a little bit of coloring because I put that adobo with saffron, which is yellowish reddish. Now I'm going to go ahead and saute my onions and garlic. Sorry, I'm trying to do this all on my own here. I apologize. I usually have a helper. We'll come back to that in a few minutes once it's caramelized. Okay, so it's only been probably 5 to 7 minutes. My onions are caramelized, my peppers are caramelized. I'm going to go ahead and add my garlic and continue to saute that for about a minute. Garlic only takes about a minute. You definitely don't want to overcook that. And as soon as I get that minute of garlic done, then I'm going to go ahead and add my spices, which I stirred up so they're well divided. So we'll come back to that as soon as this minute has passed and I've added the spices. So I've sauteed the garlic, I've added the spices. Now I'm going to go ahead and add the 1 cup of white wine, and that's going to bring up all the little bits and pieces. I'm going to stir that around. It's going to be a beautiful red dish with a red sauce. And we're done. And you know this is going to have to cook in an oven. I'm going to set mine at 325 because I have about 4 pounds. You could do 300 because you've browned it already. And then we're going to go ahead and add my sofrito packet. And that'll take a little bit for that to melt because it was in the freezer. So I'm going to break that up and I'll come back to that once that's done. I can hit the pause. Okay, so my sofrito has disintegrated. I'm going to add my beef broth. I'm going to bring that back to a boil. I'm also going to add the crushed tomatoes. Now, if you don't have crushed tomatoes, whoopsie, there we go. You can see how they're pulverized up. You can take diced tomatoes or stewed tomatoes, but you'd have to use your blender and blend that up first. We're going to bring this to a boil. And then we're going to add the beef back in and cook it in the oven for 2, 3, 4 hours, depending, until it's fork tender and it falls apart. Okay, so we're just going to get finished up here. I've added the beef back. I added my olives, and then I'm going to pop my lid on here, and we're going to bake that 325 to 3 hours depending. And I will probably have to do a second installment to show you what it comes out like when it's all shredded. All right, that's it for now.